you. First of all, I got a big mistake. I grabbed this sparkling water instead of still water, so I might barf. Sorry. I had to let you know beforehand. Seriously. Plus, I'm still quite jet-lagged, and my brain is not really clear, so I might screw up today. All right. So my name is Tomomi. I'm Tomomi Imura, and today I'm going to talk about a conversational interface with JavaScript. See, I'm already screwing up. So that's me. Again, my name is Tomomi Imura, and on the social media, I'm known as a girly Mac, girly_Mac, sometimes no underscore. That was kind of dumb name, but I've been using this handle for like 2 decades already. So as you can tell from this picture, actually I work at Slack. But today's talk is not really entirely talk about Slack. I do mention some little bit, but I'm going to talk about like conversational interface in general. And the first half of my talk is more like high-level talk about what is, what conversational interface is and what you can do with it. And the second part is more like show and tell with my demo and a code. Bots, right? So this dude, some guy from Microsoft, no, I should give him some respect. Satya Nadella from Microsoft is saying bots are like new application that you can converse with. So he's talking about some conversation with non-humans. And another dude, well, Sundar Pichai from Google, he was saying we'll evolve in computing from mobile first to an AI first world. So he mentioned that at the Google I/O last year, I believe, and I was actually there too. And I was quite surprised here because Google used to be saying, the mobile first. But now I guess mobile have its own maturity, so now they're shifting to an AI now. So this is the Google Home, a voice-assisted device. And we get so many other things like Amazon Echo, and Apple has a new stuff. I forgot the name, HomePod or something like that. Geez, I already forgot about that, but there's so many voice-assisted devices out there. Traditionally speaking, when we design like a web and an app with the user interactions, we've been using like form input, right? So user can just type in something and submit. Or maybe we can let user to choose from menu, or maybe from keyboard shortcut and such. And they say it's a traditional, but of course it's still valid. We can still using it all the time. But later on, we get some more like social web. So like modern web and app with social interactions get popular, maybe around like several years ago or so. So we get some like buttons or tweet or some like intents, like you can tweet from somewhere else rather than twitter.com and such. And that's all have like a real-time interaction as well. Then now the trend goes to a conversational user interface. And so you can interact with user and hardware devices with, let's say it's voice. In this case, example with Alexa and Siri. Say, hey Siri, where's the Pancho Villa Taqueria? That's my favorite taqueria in San Francisco. And I'm glad I didn't activate any of your iDevices, because it happens sometimes. Say, hey Siri. Sorry, I won't do this again. And this is another one. It's actually conversational user interaction for kids in different form factor. In this case, it looks like some toy. It's a Cognitoid Dino that actually have a IBM Watson brain. So this little toy can talk, like teach kids math, maybe telling some jokes, play games. You can do so many things. And that can come with a different form factor too. Could be a robot. So this is the actual picture of my niece. My niece lives in Japan, and she interacts with this little robot called Pepper all the time. So she knows how to deal with it already. And when I was visited her in Japan last year, I had no idea what to do. Oh, by the way, this picture is from a sushi joint. So we went to eat sushi, and this robot, says something. It's like, like a hello, welcome, and such. And I had no idea. It's like, what the hell is going on? What am I going to do? And she knew, she told me how to use it. So I was like, damn, digital natives? That's crazy. I have no idea. And of course, a conversational interface can be in a voice and text. So this is just a screenshot, actually, animation of Google Assistant. So you can talk, or you can type as well on your mobile phone. And it could be just text, maybe text with some sort of graphic user interface on the mobile phone or web. So this is an example of Slack. What kind of, it doesn't have to be Slack, but so it can give you some sort of notifications. If you ever watch this movie, The Office Space, it's kind of old movie, but maybe every day, like at 4:45 p.m., maybe you can just notify and say, hey, don't forget your TPS report. I guess no one have watched this. Anyways. So graphic user interface to conversational interface. This is another example. Somebody's ordering pizza. So that could be done by either text or voice. Deliver me some large margherita pizza. And the bot might give you some sort of options. Or maybe this robot, this bot might already know the preference, her preference from the previous order and such. And maybe that can be, connected with some sort of payment API, so you can make a payment altogether. That's one of the examples. So the conversational interface achieves natural user interaction with minimal visual interface. And the great thing about it is there's no UI clutter. So ideally, each user spends less time. Here's another example. So maybe two girls like conversing, and then maybe one say, hey, then come over to my place, and another girl's like, oh, so what is, where you live, what's your address? And as soon as another lady say her home address, bot reacted because she mentioned the home street address. So bot was like, hey, request a ride. I know it sounds kind of creepy, but of course, in that case, user have to know that she already have configured that way. So you can't just, randomly activate your bot without, noticing your users first, obviously. And of course, in this case, yes, get me a ride. So give another person give it a permission, then the bot can, get you some ride share or taxi cab, whatever. And I say there's no UI clutter, but doesn't mean there's no zero UI with a voice assistant. So this example is actually from Amazon, developed at Amazon.com. So it's actual Alexa UX. And this is something on Amazon called a voice Chrome example, voice Chrome. So it has some sort of indication on the hardware device itself, so user know what's going on. If they're listening, if they're speaking. It's funny though, because Amazon does freaking upgrade with Amazon Echo. So one day I came back home and it's showing yellow light, and I was kind of freaking out because I didn't know what it means. But that was automatically updated, and it simply meant, I had some missing message or something. But initially I didn't know, so I thought it was broken or something. It's like, why yellow? Yeah. But other than that, once you know what it is, it's always nice to have some visual indications on the hardware. So conversational interface is intuitive and accessible and productive. There are some messaging platforms out there. So I work for Slack, so I put Slack on the top, but Slack, Facebook Messengers, and there's so many other platforms out there. And last one I put is Line. That's something incredibly popular in Japan. So whenever I'm chatting with my friends in Japan or family, I always use Line. So it's just an example. So in the case of Slack, we use bots, like a lot of third-party bots out there. By the way, I work at the Slack's platform team, so I'm actually advocating Slack APIs usually. So you can use Slack API to create some bots. In this case, like GitHub, Dropbox, Twitter. Oh, by the way, it's kind of unrelated, but if you've been using GitHub app with Slack and you haven't updated it for a while, you should reinstall it now because we got a new version came out, and that's far better. And well, this is not so, yeah, it's just the stuff that I use. Because oftentimes, people ask me, oh, what kind of bots do you use at Slack? So just example, there's something like I personally like. So we get like stage and deploy checking. So when I merge some code and somebody else, just push the code to, deploy the code and push the code to the server. I always get those stage, when it's pushed to stage, when deployed, let's get notifications. Or sometimes when somebody updated Jira tickets, I get notifications as well. And something more social, it's called lunch train. This was created by my colleague. So when you want to go to lunch or coffee with your colleague, you can just always post it. And sometimes you make new friends, in the office. We can always respond like, hey, let's go to lunch. Another one is a silly one. It's a flipping table bot. So every time somebody pissed me off and I flip the table, the bot fixed it for me. Not just fixing it, it's telling me to respect tables. All right, so I shouldn't flip in table. And every day in 3 o'clock, Slack bot always notify me to get a coffee. That's cute little things. And this is not done by us. This is by Taco Bell. I guess Taco Bell is not really huge here in the UK. I didn't know because I haven't seen any in like London area. But anyway, this is the fast food. Yeah, and they have created this Slack bot. It's called Taco Bot. So you can order tacos from your Slack. It's kind of funny. I kind of want to try, but I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat Taco Bell. I never try. Yeah. But I thought it was an interesting idea. Yeah. So the Taco Bell bot, maybe I'll show it again. So you can actually converse. You can, chat like as if you're talking to human, and the bot reacted and it takes order. And those example. So they are using one of those natural conversation APIs out there. So there are plenty of APIs you can use. And they are all third parties from different companies. And the first one is Dialogflow. I still refer this as API.ai because I've been using API.ai for a while before they got acquired by Google. So they renamed it to the Dialogflow. Now, WithAI is another one, similar APIs, similar servers. It says Facebook, the same way Facebook acquired the company. It's not like they make it. And Microsoft has its own framework, and there are so many other APIs and services out there. And they're really like high-level APIs and relatively easy to use. It's lightweight, easy to use, and it comes with nice graphical user interface too. So in this case, it's a WithAI. I took this diagram from their website. So basically, it understands natural conversation by trying to just block, grab what users say and try to understand what the user tried to do. So in this case, it reacted the word, like grouping the word, say feed a baby as a task, and tomorrow at 7 a.m. means that's a date. So they know the user tried to have some task, So that intent here is agenda and create event. So that's how the API, the natural language processing understands what user is saying, what user tried to do. And it's something I call it, well, it's not real word, I just made it up, but AI as a service. And those examples, again, they have a really nice user interface that you can create artificial conversations. And you can code because they have APIs or SDKs too. So you can code, but you don't have to. You can create, all the interaction, artificial conversation by just using their UI. And ManyChat has something like, it's really nice noodling stuff. You can just connect dots and create a conversation. And they are really intended for customer service rep and all kind of other people. So you don't have to be an engineer to use those services. But it's more powerful if you know how to code. So. And that's another example. So somebody tried to book a flight. And this rep say, hi, Linda, are you flying from San Francisco as usual? But in that case, a customer doesn't have to know if this is a real person or a bot. If it's a text, you can hear the voice. So that can be a bot, really. And she's like, yes, from San Francisco. And we are flying to London. So this is actual example done by KLM. And well, I haven't flown to Amsterdam yet, so I haven't tried this app yet for myself. But apparently they use a dialogue flow to create this conversation. So that's really interesting use case. And of course, you're an engineer, so you can use more powerful NLP, natural language processing platforms and APIs out there. So there are IBM Watson. That's actually my favorite. And Google has their own natural language API as well. And Microsoft has Lewis, Amazon Lex, and Baidu has something too. So all the big players are actually going into this field right now. So then how about conversational interface with JavaScript? So of course, most of the APIs are, just totally accessible with JavaScript. They might have SDK. They might just use a REST API. You can just use it with JavaScript. No problem. So this is an actual example that I use with Facebook Messengers with API.ai. That I didn't use with AI because that was before I created this before the AI was acquired by Facebook. Maybe it's easier to use both together now, but I don't know. So this is something I actually created for fun. So it's really nothing. It's just artificial conversation. People can chat with my bot. And in that case, I'm using, it's a Node.js. So API.ai, that's dialogue flow, but it's before rename, has a Node.js SDK here. So I'm just including. And I'm not listing whole code snippets here. But basically what it's doing is Facebook has some event APIs. So when some user type in post message, server gets event. So I know what's, somebody's typed and send message. And I can just grab the message and pass it to API.ai, which returns a reply. So when I say hi, and API.ai might return me hello, and I just post in to the Facebook. So I just leave it on wild. I haven't even taken a look at. But every time I just try to peek out what's going on, I'm surprised that so many people actually have tried to converse with my bot. But sad human. They're always talking something nasty. Poor bot. Not always, but I occasionally see this. I'm like, yeah, I can't really talk about what it is, but it's just nasty. So again, I use a dialogue flow. So I don't know if you can access it from here, but that's like, I don't know what it's called, like something like a QR code, but Facebook use, so you can scan it to actually use this. And yes, I use API.ai, it's something called SmallTalk. That comes free. All other services, like booking, weather, wisdom, blah, 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 they all paid like fee-based services, but SmallTalk comes with free with the API, so I can just use it without paying any. And it really, you don't have to, well, you can configure the conversation as you want. But, well, SmallTalk already comes with, simple chats. You don't really have to add more conversation by yourself. So basically, just somebody say, how are you doing? And the API returns, I'm great, things like that. And I made more things with Slack as well, of course. And this example is, I'm using Slack API with IBM Watson. So basically, doing a sentiment analysis. So letting Watson to analyze how users feel. So analyzing each message. So basically, that's the workflow. I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm not explaining too much in detail. But basically, it's read a message and throw the message to the Watson, and Watson analyze the emotion from each message. And again, Slack uses an event-based API as well. So once event's back, that means some user send a message, read a message, and throw that to the Watson, and Watson can figure out if the message feeling sad or happy, angry. And everybody's talking about hardware, cool stuff. So of course, I'm the same way. I love to hack hardware as well. So I actually installed this application I wrote in a Raspberry Pi with a LED hooked up. And it has some cute little robot, shell that IBM gave to me. So this is actual Raspberry Pi robot. So I'm using this LED as an indication of the emotion. So based on, depending on what emotion the user feel, the LED lights up in different colors. I forgot what green means. Maybe it's just calm or something. I didn't use a really good example in this video. I should have used some angry example with red LED, but I didn't. So yeah, it's great because when we get an angry customer, and let's say the customer service is being used in a bot, but maybe they can switch to a human here because someone is angry. That can be actually useful, maybe. But I did the full thumbs up. So I have another example. So this is kind of different because I used to be working with W3C, and I still care about a web standard so much, and I wanted to do something with browser. So this is my project, artificial voice chat here. So basically what happened is when user talks to the browser convert from voice to text. Then, and secondly, I'm using actually third-party NLP APIs to create some artificial conversation, like a reply from the browser. Then browser speak back to the user. So this one's a text-to-voice conversion. And those APIs are actually, kind of sort of supported by major browsers. Not really, though. So for speech synthesis, I put 3 because that's number 3 in the process here. But speech synthesis has been actually well adapted by all the major browsers already, so we can use that now. But for speech recognition APIs, being only supported by Chromiums right now. So when we are initiating, actually when we're using this feature detection here as a window object, you have to use a WebKit speech recognition with a prefix. And that's how you create an instance of a speech recognition. And you can have some properties with this. You can set the language. You can set interim result. I put false. But what it does is it converts your voice to text as you speak. But in this example, I wanted to wait until the user paused, so I put false. And you can have some methods like start, stop, abort. And once it's successfully done, you get the result. And this API doesn't just steal your voice, doesn't do until each user give the permission. So always have this permission UI. Okay, so I have. So this is how it works. So I have this example in CodePen. So the first example is when you say click, hello. Let me see it. I don't think it's quite working. Hey, hey, hey. All right, it's working. Oh, it's working. It's working. It's working. Yay. Okay. It's kind of silly, but. So that's what it is. And I have another example, so I'm going to just use that. Okay, so another one is a speech synthesis. So this is widely supported by browsers, so you don't need a vendor prefix anymore. And you can just get the property of speech synthesis utterance interface here. Then you can configure with what text you want to convert it into voice. You can set a pitch, you can set language, and you can have it to speak. So there's another example. I have only 5 more minutes. Okay, so let's just use a default.
Hello, how are you?
So this is really, I'm just giving a string and I let the browser to speak. I can say like, yo, what's up? What's up?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, and of course I can set some other languages like Japanese. So let's say this one. That's cool, right? And yeah, I'm a native Japanese speaker, so I can say this is pretty good, actually. Surprisingly good. And so this is what it is. So it's basically text to voice. So I combine this everything using a Node.js server, and I'm using a Socket.io here because I wanted to have some sort of a real-time connection in between my server and browser, the client side. And for the third-party APIs, here I'm using API.ai again. So this is another demo. Oops, I shouldn't have quit. Now all the AI stuff and this web API example I just showed you all combined here. So I'm going to have a conversation with my browser. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Feeling wonderful.
Ooh. Oops. You know what? I'm wearing cool socks today. I don't think you understood. Maybe you didn't. Damn it. Hey, I'm wearing cool socks.
One more time.
I said I am wearing cool socks.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yes, my body is not so smart because I didn't really configure right. But this is fun, right? So that's what you can do with web speech APIs and the third-party, natural processing APIs here. And I wrote about how it works and how you can create it too on Smashing magazines. So if you're interested, and I have a source code on GitHub as well. So the conversational interface is for human. And the bots interface really is a human interface. So even when you're dealing with bots and AI, still you use as a human. So you have to make it easy for human. So remember me? We used to have Clippy. He was a little annoying assistant, wasn't quite helpful because he wasn't really created for us. But if Microsoft tries now, I think that can be better. All right. Oop. I was going to say thank you, but I have one more slide. So I didn't really introduce myself initially, but I always do some funny cat hack. I always combine cats and technology. So most of my talks involve so many cat pictures. But this talk didn't have any cats in it. And the last time I gave it a similar talk in San Francisco, people complained to me that I didn't use any cat photo. So I added a cat photo as the last slide today. Yeah, cats, would you take over us first? It's my cat. I know it's silly. All right, so that's it, and thank you so much.